Well, records are meant to be broken, and both of these records are about the same type of animal, and they both have been broken already this year. Oh, I don't know if the length one has, but the other one I'm going to talk about definitely has, because I literally just did a video on it. Snake hunter nabs 19-foot-long Burmese python in Florida. The female reptile weighed 125 pounds and set a record for the state, according to the Conservancy of Southwest Florida. The snake hunters this week caught the longest Burmese python ever documented in Florida that measured an eye-popping 19 feet. Ooga. I'm sorry. The supersized slitherer, great wordsmithing, ABC or NBC, whatever you are. The supersized slitherer was discovered Monday in Big Cypress National Preserve, about 45 miles west of Miami, according to the Conservancy of Southwest Florida. The record-breaking female python weighed 125 pounds and the best of the previous longest Burmese python, which measured 18 feet and 9 inches. And that was also found in Florida, the Conservancy said in a statement Wednesday. The Conservancy is an environmental nonprofit based in Naples. Jake Wallery, 22, found the snake and said he knew it had to be weighed and measured for the sake of science. We brought the snake to the Conservancy to be officially measured and documented. We wanted to donate this find to science, he said in the Conservancy's statement. How many times will I say that word? The environment group described Burmese pythons as an invasive apex predator that should be removed from Southwest Florida's ecosystem. The heaviest Burmese python found in Florida was documented in 2022 and weighed 215 pounds. The Conservancy. Whatever. I just thought of apex predator. you know that meme. It was they were saying they were gonna send up like the most dangerous pedophile up into space on a rocket because he had done like whatever. It was British, and then it was like they said that a kid snuck on the rocket, and they're like, "This is the last thing we wanted to happen." Whenever I heard predator, what I thought of. I don't know why. Doesn't make any sense. It's not funny, but that's all I can get in my. It's all that's in my head. Ian Esterling, a biologist with the Conservancy, said it was important to enter into the record how long the Burmese pythons can grow. Like Florida's the only place that has them, right? We don't know how big they grow otherwise, right? I had a feeling that these snakes get this big, and now we have clear evidence. Her genetic material may prove valuable for an eventual understanding of the founding population of South Florida eastward. How? We know where they came from. That doesn't make any sense to me. We know where they came from. During Hurricane Andrew in like 1992 or something like that, whatever. It was like 80s, 90s, somewhere in there. They were doing skin trading, and they were breeding them for the skin trade, along with retics and a couple others. And that building got destroyed in Hurricane Andrew, and like 200 or 300 Burmese pythons got out. And there was a bunch of retics that got out too, but the retics didn't establish. Only the Burms did. And that's where most of them came from. Burmese pythons are docile behavior, making them favored among large reptile owners, according to National Geographic. However, they are often poorly cared for, frequently released into the wild, and attacks on their handlers are not atypical, National Geographic said. That is complete bullshit. I will say that is basically, that is something that is said a lot, is that they are frequently released into the wild. No. They're like, oh, well, it's owners who didn't know they would get that big and release them. A couple of them, sure. Most of them are not from that. Most of them are not. Most of the animals that we have in Florida that are like invasive and like are everywhere are oftentimes shipped in on like containers of some sort. Like a lot of animals come in through, like, okay, the giant snails as an example. Why do they keep on being brought? Well, because we get plants from Africa. We get plants from South America. We get plants from all these islands, like these subtropical plants or tropical plants, whatever. And they come in on these big boats, and these animals maybe lay an egg in the pot or whatever the case is. They're usually not pets. And it's been said that they were pets because that's the easiest way to ban something. Is they don't want to ban the money-making part of it. They want to ban it's like they only want to go after the people who like these animals. That's what it feels like. Anyway, reptiles are native to grassy marshes and jungles in Southeast Asia. They can grow 3 feet or more, and their diets consist primarily of small mammals and birds, Nat Geographic said. They kill by constriction and grasping their prey with their teeth while coiling their bodies around it and squeezing until suffocation, according to National Geographic. I mean, that's not entirely untrue. Constriction is more along the lines of every time that animal breathes out, they squeeze just a little harder so that they can't breathe back in. And they don't necessarily like crush it. But yeah, it's suffocation. You know, I guess that's fine. I know I'm picking apart National Geographic, but it's just like, I mean, that's a big snake. Don't get me wrong. That's a big snake. They definitely get bigger than that. We knew this. And it's just a matter of time before they got that big in Florida. I mean, they can live a decent amount of time. And, you know, some of these, a lot of them don't reach that size. Most of them don't reach adulthood. Most of them die before they get to any significant size. Other things eat them. And when they get this big, it's not like there's basically anything else that can really eat them. So, like, I'll give them that. But it's a big snake. That's a very big snake. With that being said, here, we talked about the egg breaking record. There was like 98, I think, before. Well, this one had 111 eggs. That's a lot of eggs. A record-breaking invasive python nest has been caught and removed in the Florida Everglades. The FWC shared how large the Burmese python nest with 111 showed how a large invasive Burmese python with a nest of 111 eggs was removed by one of their contractors earlier this week. The commission described it as a record-breaking invasive python nest. It's a unique natural ecosystem in the Everglades, spreads from Lake Okeechobee in the north to the south of the Florida Bay and the Gulf of Mexico. Lisa Thompson from the Division of Habitat and Species Conservation at the FWC told Newsweek Brandon Raw, a contractor with the FWC's Python Action Team, removing invasive constrictors, removed the python nest last Friday. It was on the nest of 111 eggs, which is a record-sized python nest removed from Florida. The record refers to the number of laid eggs. The female python was 13 feet 9 inches, she explained. A UNESCO World Heritage Site, the site is packed with natural wildlife such as raccoons, possums, rabbits, deers, birds, alligators, turtles, lizards, and more. But much of the Everglades' natural wildlife and local ecosystems has been negatively impacted by the presence of non-native Burmese pythons. Considered invasive species, the snakes are native to Southeast Asia, were introduced to the area as a result of pet releases or escapes. The first reported sighting of a Burmese python in the Everglades was in the 80s. While sightings were originally sporadic, they have since increased, and the population has become established, leading to increased issues with native wildlife. Burmese pythons prey on native mammals like marsh rabbits, possums, and deer. Birds such as waterfowl and ground nesting birds who often lay eggs in nests stolen by reptiles for their food. Possum. I guess they can eat deer. I seriously doubt they eat a lot of them. Anyway, 1980s, no, it was 1979. It was the first one I was ever spotted by Everglades Holiday Park. Actually, like I'm doing that whole thing. I mean, they're an issue. They are an issue. I know I speak out against. I just don't like the misrepresentation of a lot of this stuff. They are an issue. At some point in time, what are we going to do about it? They're established enough where it's like, are we really ever going to get them truly out of there? Probably not. I don't know what to do about this, to be quite honest. I mean, they can keep on going. They're not going to get rid of all of them. They're definitely not. It's not going to happen. So eventually, over time, they're just going to become part of, in 150 years, 200 years from now, when they're still out there, no one's going to care. It's going to be a part of the native wildlife. They're going to be like we look at feral hogs right now. They're like, yeah, these guys are non-native, and when the season's open, you can kill as many as you want, but, people come down and hunt them, whatever. Like, there's no efforts to eradicate wild hogs, even though they cause a bunch of damage when it comes to, farming and stuff. I mean, certain places in Texas, they take you out on a helicopter to shoot them. They don't want to get rid of them. They're not going to want to get rid of these snakes. It's an attraction. If they wanted to, they could have been eradicated by now. If they really wanted to. I guarantee you they could have had, what blows me away is that we are able to go in and they're like, oh, these animals that are native, they're at risk of being destroyed. They're at risk of going extinct. Manatees. No one eats manatees in Florida. No one touches it. If they're protected, yet we're just sitting here like, oh, the manatees are all going to die because they're not on the endangered species list anymore. One algae bloom comes and kills a few of them. Oh my God, the manatees are going to die. We're freaking out about the manatees. They're not going anywhere. Not anytime soon. No one, the passenger pigeon, there were billions of them. Billions. And they were wiped out in a few years. We talk about all these animals that's populations are just being destroyed. Yet we think that this snake in particular is immune to that. It's only been here for, less than 40 years? Been around 40 years, whatever. And we don't think that we could wipe out the populations if we really wanted to. We have the power. We have the power to destroy any life we want to, and we're criticized for it constantly until it comes to this guy. And you either realize that they're completely full of it, like they're lying to you saying that these animals are going to be completely wiped out, or they're lying to you by saying that there's nothing we can do and they're out of control. Like, it doesn't compute. Something is weird about this. We're either destroying all wildlife, or these guys are super. These guys are on a different level. I don't understand it. Maybe I'm simplifying it too much. I'm probably going to get ridiculed in the comment section by people who are like, oh, that's a dumb way to look at it. Sure, whatever. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think down below and rip into me if you want to. Come on, I want to hear the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you on the next one. Stay wild, or whatever. Keep it wild. I keep on going back and forth. Whatever. Bye.